Do you think in the first half you could have put more pressure on Bournemouth?
Yes, but we couldn't because we lost the ball in very dangerous areas too many times. And when that happens, you are not compact as a block, you don't travel together. So to put pressure against a team that plays with a very open structure that wants to just attract you to put the ball in the last line, you have to be very conscious of that. If not, you get opened up. And we did get opened up a few times when we mistimed things. But then I think in the second half it was much better.
It was the first of 9 games in January in 4 different competitions. It's going to be a long month, but fans will be hopeful and excited, especially when you look at the quality of this squad. So how much confidence do you take when you look at this squad, you look at your finishers, you look at the starting 11, how much confidence does it give you for this run?
Yes, a lot. I think, first of all, we need to understand the effort that they are doing because it's what we have in January, but what we had in November and December as well. So it doesn't matter. You see the decide. You see how they celebrate every action, to how much they want it, and that's the energy that we're going to need.
You know, Manchester City dropped points against Sunderland. It just feels like it was a significant one in terms of timing as much as anything.
Yeah, massive. Obviously, off the back of Aston Villa, I think the key thing today was to build on that and to go and win. You know, the win against Villa would have meant nothing if we come here today and didn't pick up anything. But it's so important this time of the year. The schedule's crazy. The fixtures come thick and fast. And, you know, if you can win your games in and around Christmas, on top of what we've done already, it's going to put us in a really good position. So we've got to keep building on that, keep the mentality right, keep pushing. But we're in a really good spot at the minute, and long may that continue.
Hi, Dick. Paul Merson here.
You all right?
You're all right, mate. I was just going to say,
all good.
What did Mikel Arteta say at half-time? Because I thought first half, their midfield were all over you like a rash first half. Didn't really have time to get your heads up. A couple more times they intercepted, got you moved, you know. And I thought Arsenal as an Arsenal team give the ball away a lot more than they usually do. Second half, you sort of overpowered them. Was there anything that he said that sort of changed that, where you had to drop off or, you know, push on or...
Yeah, no, I think in the first half, I think we was doing the things they wanted. You know, we kept playing the ball to our left side and they kept trapping us. As soon as we made that one pass over to Gabriel, they all swarmed in on us and, you know, we made us either go back to David or kick it long. And like you said, it did feel like that on the pitch. It felt like they were swarmed all over us in the first half. But, you know, we're a team at second half. Once we get in there at half time and the manager speaks and we speak between each other, we knew we had the quality and we knew the space was there to go on and win the game. And we've done that a lot this season. So, you know, credit to everyone to go out there and perform how we did second half, because that wasn't easy today.
Shall we? Because delighted to be joined by the Arsenal captain, Martin Odegaard, live on Premier League Live. Martin, good to speak to you. We've got your older Arsenal friend here, Mr. Ray Parlour. Glenn Murray's in the studio as well. Congratulations. Look, a huge 3 points there. And the resilience. You probably heard us there, Martin, talking about Gabriel, the mistake. But, 5 minutes, 18 seconds later, he makes amends. And it's a huge win for you down there, isn't it?
Yeah, massive win. It was a strange game. Very sloppy on the ball, especially in the first half. And yeah, obviously with the first goal, put ourselves in trouble. But the way we reacted, and as you said, Gabriel, the reaction, you know, to come back and score. And yeah, I thought the whole team was better in the second half. And yeah, just annoying that we concede that goal again, you know, to make it too chaotic in the end. But at the end of the day, it's 3 points, another win, and yeah, we move on. But yeah, lots of things we could have done better. But yeah, we'll take the 3 points.
Like what, Martin, in particular?
I think we were very sloppy on the ball, especially in the first half. We gave away a lot of balls playing out from the back. You know, we gave them a little bit the momentum, put ourselves in trouble, and then yeah, when we go 3-1 up, we should just see the game out. You know, but we concede again. So yeah, there's a few things to improve, but at the end of the day, as I said, this 3 points is another win. The difficult place against a good team, who plays really good football. You know, and yeah, it's a difficult place to come. So so a good win.
Martin, it's all about obviously getting a result, and you know, when you look back, if you do somehow can go on and win the league in May, you know, you don't really analyse every game, and it's all about getting a result, especially when the other teams are playing tomorrow as well, who's going to be around in the mix. It's all about getting the 3 points on the table. So I'm sure Mikel, after the game, is very, very pleased with not with the performance, but with the result.
Yeah, definitely the result is what we wanted. We wanted to get the win. That's all that matters. To win games and win games and win games, and we're doing that at the moment. It's true that a few of the games have been a bit more chaotic than we wanted, and a bit nervous in the end. They're fighting for the goal. So, but yeah, as you say, 3 points, a win, and we move on.
Martin, it's Glenn here. Just give me a feel of how it is down there tonight after getting 3 points and a really good start to the new year. But a big game coming up on Thursday for you guys.
Yeah, every game is big, to be fair, in this league. Every game is a big test, and today was another example of that. And as you say, another big game coming up, Liverpool. Yeah, it's non-stop, and we're in a good moment. Feel like we have the momentum. We need to keep it up. As I said, still areas to improve, and we can get better. So just look for the next now. Come back to the training ground, work on a few more details, and be ready for the next one.
Martin, really appreciate your time, mate. Thank you very much. Safe journey back tonight, and you can cheer on Chelsea tomorrow against Manchester City.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I know they'll be watching that. That's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Man City, now they'll be watching that tonight, hoping they could have nicked one at the end, Bournemouth. But Man City won't be too worried about it at the moment. It's all about being around that sort of area about the March, April. That's when the last kick to home. And Man City have got players who've been there and done it. So, I still think Man City certainly it's not over yet. There's a long way to go, but they'll be hoping Chelsea can do Arsenal a bit of a favour tomorrow.
More Arsenal reaction coming out of the Vitality. Let's hear from Declan Rice.
Declan, congratulations. That felt like a win to the Aston Villa one.
Yeah, I think we know Bournemouth at this stadium. I'd read something that they'd only conceded 6 here this season, so with the attacking threat they have and their manager that they have, we knew it was always going to be really tough. We didn't once think that we was going to come here and have it easy today, but to pick up the 3 points and the way we done it after a not the best first half from us was a really important win.
I was going to say, what does it say about the character, the grit, the determination after that sort of fairly bad start you got off to?
Yeah, massive. It shows the character of Gabriel. To make that mistake and then play how we did for the rest of the game shows the mentality of the team and what we're trying to do this season. And yeah, I think like I said, we come out in the second half, we made it really, really good for us, and obviously to get the 2-goal lead was good, but again, we let in a sloppy goal. Great finish, but we could have done better on the second ball, so we'll look at that, but the main thing is 3 points and keep building momentum. I think that's the biggest thing for us.
Having seen you score quite a few cracking goals, I was quite surprised to learn that it's the first time you've scored 2 in a league game for the first time.
I know, that's crazy. I've been in situations before where I've scored 1 in the game when I wanted to go on and score another. And obviously it hasn't happened, but today it has, and it's a crucial one because at Christmas time, the fixtures come thick and fast, and to be able to help the team out with 2 goals is massive because we're going to need everyone chipping in at different points. So I'm happy I could help the team today to victory.
So this time around, were you hoping for the hat-trick when you've previously been looking for 2?
I actually was. I was thinking one more cut back to me, please. But another chance didn't arise. And Bournemouth for the last 15 minutes played really well. They shut that space off. So I was gutted to not get the hat-trick. But I'll keep trying. Maybe one day that might come.
I know that Victor Gyökeres from the outside, people have been talking about his record and stuff. The manager said he does a lot more than just score goals, and today he played a vital part in the second goal, didn't he?
Massive. It's tough for him because defenders are so tight on him and there's no space for him at all, but he's working so hard, and you see for the second goal he holds 2 of them off really, really well, sets Martin, who then sets me, and it's such a pivotal moment in the game because that turned the game on its head. And I see him in training, I see how he works. He's such a good guy. It will start to click for him, like the manager said the other day, and all the boys are with him because what he's doing for us, even though he hasn't scored, how he's helping us as a team to press, to hold the ball up. I think good things are going to come.
Just very finally, there's also noise in the media about the fact you have such good strength in depth at the moment. The manager's able to rotate some of the regulars and then bring them on in the second half. You are stacked, aren't you?
Yeah, we've had it tough this season, like a lot of other teams, with injuries, and at different points we've had top players out that we've needed in. We're waiting for Guy to come back now as well, waiting for some others to come back. So look, we're in a good spot if we can keep everyone fit and keep rotating and everyone be on the same wavelength. I'm sure good things will happen, but there's a long way to go, and we just need to stay focused on ourselves and keep winning matches. So we'll keep doing that.
Tom, man.
Yeah, Declan Rice loves a goal against Bournemouth. He scored more goals against the Cherries than anyone else in his career so far. And I'm just thinking, sort of very, very composed from Declan Rice. Martin on with us live there as well. They've got a bit of the Ray Parlours, haven't they, to stay calm the next game, You think back, Ray, to last season, and they were criticised, weren't they, for going a bit too wild after games, and the celebration police were all over them. But it's a different sort of vibe after the wins.
Yeah, I can sense that the first half performance I wasn't pleased with. And it was better in the second half, and Declan getting his 2 goals. But Mikel Arteta more or less would have had a little bit of a pop at them probably half time, saying it ain't good enough. If we want to win this Premier League, you've got to play better what we're doing. But yeah, I like what he said there.
Before we go, I want to hear from Mikel Arteta. Here is the winning manager from the Vitality Stadium.
Mikel, they sure made it a contest, but how proud are you, not only with the result, but the way you guys handled all the challenges that Bournemouth presented tonight?
Yeah, very happy. We knew the difficulty of the match. It's a team that constantly is threatening you, is asking you questions. They are so good and attracting you, play the ball long to the right player with the right duel, the second ball, counter-press you. And to get out of that game is difficult. We made it even harder for ourselves in the manner that we conceded the first one. But I love the character of the team. I love the character of Gabi. The way he overcome that situation, it's just unbelievable. And it tells a lot about how much we've grown and matured over the years. And yeah, the team find a way to beat them, and it's a massive win.
Yeah, you just mentioned Gabi's character. He makes the uncharacteristic mistakes and he's furious about it, and then 6 minutes later he scores. How much of his personality is translated into his game, you think?
A lot. When you talk about presence and being dominant and authority, that's probably the player that represents that in this team. That's why it's so important, and you have to lead by example. You cannot demand that to the rest, and then if something happens to you, don't do it. So today's example, I think it's a great one.
It's a great one, says Mick, and it's 3 points. It's 5 straight wins in a row, and it's a big one on Thursday, isn't it, Glenn? Liverpool at the Emirates.
Huge, set it up very well. Obviously Liverpool not at their best, but they will find form to go to the Emirates, and they know it could be a big game if they could just reel them in. Liverpool find a bit of form, find that concoction going forward. You never know, you can't write Liverpool out of it completely, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of City fans of Liverpool on Thursday.
Enjoyed that, guys. I know Ray did. Secretly, that smile's going to get bigger and bigger. I wonder when Parlour starts to say, come on, we're in the race now, we're in the mix. 6 points they lead at the moment. Ray Parlour, Glenn Murray, thank you very much. Enjoy that, everyone. See you again next time. Bye-bye.
Well, I'm sure Mikel Arteta won't be too happy with how they played in that first half. I mean, they've got to move the ball quicker. Lots of touches, but not doing no damage to Bournemouth. They've really set up well in that midfield, especially. They're really hard to get through the lines, but I think he won't be too happy with that, Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
Look, he's going in. They can play a lot better. Arsenal, so they've got to improve that second half. This is a big game for them tonight to get the 3 points on the ball before City play tomorrow.
Opening goal came after 10 minutes, Glenn, and it was a horror show, wasn't it, from Gabriel at the back?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, when you just watch his positioning here, I'm not sure if he's trying to find his centre back or Timber just at the bottom of the screen here, but body shape all wrong. Doesn't really get any perch on. I actually don't think he realises Evan Nielsen's in the middle, loitering there. It's like you say, a horror show. This is exactly what you don't want when you've not travelled well to this ground to give them a leg up like this. Just see him looking across. But he never really looks as though he can kick it that distance, if you know what I mean. It's not a short pass, it's a long pass.
I think the idea is the whip to Saliba.
I think it is, yeah. I just don't think he's aware that Evan Nielsen's there, and obviously this is the Premier League and they are the fine margins, and when you make a mistake like that, more often than not you get punished.
And it's actually the first time in 3 years it's an error from Gabriel which has led to a goal, but redemption 5 minutes and 18 seconds later.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. You made a really horrible mistake, but you got to come back and keep going. You got to defend well. But he'd be over the moon with this, just getting on the score sheet. He'd be disappointed giving that pass away. Medawaki does so well to get to the byline. Some poor defending, really, from Bournemouth's point of view. But it's a really good strike. There's a couple of really good blocks. Martinelli, he's got exactly right. You've got to close him down there. Semenya's got to be a lot closer to him. But Medawaki's been pretty lively in this first half. He's probably been one of the better players. But they've got to get the ball to him a little bit more. I don't think they've used him enough on that right-hand side because he looks like he's got the beating down that side, so you've got to give him the ball, and that's a big problem. But as you see, a couple of ricochets, and there's Gabriel to finish off, and he'd be over the moon with that. When you don't make a mistake, you've always got to try and redeem yourself, and he's certainly done without that strike.
And to be able to have goals coming from an Arsenal point of view from all over the pitch. I mean, Glenn, look at this. Since his Premier League debut, Gabriel, he's now up to 20. He scored in back-to-back games because, of course, he scored against Aston Villa as well. But that's big numbers from your centre-back.
Yeah, that's a big return. And I think when he's in the opposition box, he shows a real desire to get on the end of things, almost an uncontrollable desire. If you're marking him, it's a nightmare because he's big, physical. And when he wants to get there more often than not, he does crash over the top of you, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they do a lot of work on the training ground with the set plays. We know that they've got a great record now. Gabriel always seems to pop up with a goal. So it's so important that you get goals from all over the pitch, and certainly the centre-halves have played their part, scoring a few.
But Bournemouth have had a go as well, your old team, Glenn. They've had 8 shots, which is actually the most Arsenal have faced in a first half since Manchester United on the opening weekend of the Premier League season. And what are we calling these? Chances, half chances?
Well, I'm calling them good play, and I'm calling them confidence building from the run they've been on. They've asked questions of Arsenal. They've picked up the ball in some really good areas. See there, that just whistle past the post. This one, I feel as though Tavernier should do a little bit better. Can he use his right foot? I know it's a little bit unorthodox for him, but from this angle here, got to sweep it with your right here. Really difficult skill to be able to stab that in with your left. But like I said, that man there, I'll be delighted with that first half.
Yeah, be interested to see what he's saying in that dressing room at the Vitality Stadium. Of course, they battled, didn't they, for a good point, Bournemouth last.
When that game kicks off, Arsenal playing, of course, Bournemouth today. Big statement win against Aston Villa on Tuesday night, hey?
Yeah, massive. You know, I mean, the first half could have gone either way, but the way Arsenal dominated in that second half, I mean, it was a statement victory. I mean, they were ruthless in that second half. The substitutions made a big difference. They didn't really give Aston Villa a sniff second half as well. And you're right, a couple of weeks ago when Aston Villa beat them, the narrative was, okay, here we go, the wobble's about to start. This is where Manchester City capitalised, and Arsenal then put in that statement victory by winning that game, and it's Man City that falter at Sunderland. So for Mikel Arteta, huge win, and now they're looking at it, Man City and Chelsea, if they can get the job done against Bournemouth, Arsenal, 7 points is huge. I think at this stage, going into the new year, it's absolutely massive.
It is. It's massive for Arsenal as well, because in the previous results, even if they've won their games, it's felt like a little bit of a struggle. We haven't felt completely confident, but that was a big win.
Yes, against a team that people were tipping as potentially being in the race themselves, being a rival, being able to compete with Arsenal in those moments. A team not only that we're competing against, that had beat them at Villa Park only a couple of weeks before. So it was a big statement. It was a big opportunity to show the rest of the league that they are really serious about it this season, and the desire to go win it. And I do think that Arsenal need the points sort of buffer. I do think if they get into the latter stages of the season, you get into March and City are only 2 points behind.
Can't write them off ever.
And you start to think that Man City have been here before, they know the pressure, they'll get it done. I think Arsenal need to keep this buffer, this points difference as big as possible going into March, and that should give them every opportunity to actually get over the line this season.
We looked at the Premier League table just then. Which clubs do you think really need to do some business in the window?
I mean, obviously, the obvious ones are down in the bottom of the table. And I look at someone like West Ham. Oh my, they need reinforcements badly.
Can they attract players at the moment with where they're at?
You're fine. I mean, it's still a big football club, and I know it's going to take some convincing to get players there. But they are in desperate need of some players. I mean, they need a centre forward, and Callum Wilson, I'm a big fan of his, but unfortunately can't stay fit. They need a goal scorer. I don't know how they've got it so wrong for such a long time in terms of centre forward. Right? So long. Fulcr's just got a dream move to AC Milan. I don't know how that's come about, but they are a club I look at and think, if ever there was a club that were desperate for 3 or 4 bodies just to come in, as Liam was talking about, to freshen up the dressing room, it was West Ham.
What about for you?
Yeah, West Ham are the obvious one. I think Brighton have drifted down the league. I think they'll want to try and reinforce, to try and get themselves back to the top half if they want to be. And then
they've got Gross back, actually, haven't they?
That might be a clever little sign. That one, I think it was only 1.3 million. It was literally, in modern day Premier League terms, not an awful lot, and the effect he could have. But then you're asking questions of the bottom teams. Burnley, are they still realistically thinking about strengthening now for this season? This is an opportunity to go and get 1 or 2 bodies in to keep you in the Premier League, or are you falling into the thoughts that, well, we don't want to overspend if we're going to go down, and you know, them moments. Wolves, do they go out and say we're miles off it? Do we go and really give ourselves every opportunity, or we already start planning with signings for next season? So yeah, I think January always gives you a mindset into the way clubs are actually thinking in regards to this season, but obviously longer term.
OK, let's go into your predictions now. This is the part where we obviously play this back lots of times come the end of the season to see if you were really spot on or not. But look, top 4, bottom 3. Interested to know both of your thoughts. So, Darren, take it away. Top 4 for you.
Yes, top 4 being Arsenal to win the league. I just feel that this is their time. City. It's in order as it is actually currently in the Premier League. I think Aston Villa will stay in the top 4, and then it might get a little bit more tricky the longer it goes on with the European aspirations and the FA Cup coming into it. But I just feel that those top 4, that will be in order that they finish. And again, in order, the bottom 3. I think Wolves 2 points. Or 3 points, should I say? That's them. I just can't see them winning enough games consecutively to get themselves out of it. Burnley. Strength and depth, no, an issue. And for the reasons I just spoke about West Ham, I feel by the time they maybe sort it out, I think Nottingham Forest and the team just above Leeds would have pulled away a little bit. So unfortunately, I thought West Ham, Burnley and Wolves will be the 3 that go down.
So, Leon, some interesting teams there. Let's just go to your top 4. Liverpool and Aston Villa are in the reverse positions to what Darren's picked. Why?
Yeah, I think Liverpool have found their feet. They've had Liverpool had what, in their terms, was the worst run for 60, 70 years or something like that. And when it finished, they were still in 5th position in the league. So I do think that's behind them. I think they'll find their feet. I think they'll get on a run. I don't think they'll catch the top 2, but I think they'll be better than everybody else in the Premier League. Villa have got a lot to contend with a small squad. I think Chelsea aren't going to get there after all of what they're managing to do to themselves at the moment. And then you look at the teams below them that would have competed, the Newcastles and the Spurs and the Manchester Uniteds. I think it's going to be a bit too much for them. So I do think that'll be the top 4.
Now, the last time I checked, correct me if I'm wrong, 4 teams can't get
I don't like this.
I mean, have we got 4 teams? Like, Benty's followed the rules, but you've got West Ham and Bournemouth in there, which is a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I didn't want to just stay with, that's my top 4 and that's what it is already in the Premier League, and that's my bottom 3 and that's what it is already. I wanted to just throw an unexpected in there. And yeah, I think West Ham are in a tough position at the moment. I think Burnley are obviously in a tougher position, being below them, and they're going to find it difficult not scoring enough goals, not giving themselves enough of a chance. West Ham are not playing well at all, but historically they may give themselves a chance to get out. I think that Nottingham Forest will pull away. I think that Leeds will pull away as well, and I just think that Bournemouth might get sucked in with. We're talking of them losing Antoine Semenyo. They may get dragged down into it. They're not on a great run at the moment. Could that be a negative for them? But ultimately, I think West Ham.
Oh, there we got there in the end. And finally. Thank you.
There's substitutions as well. They seem to just grind teams down. Like, I thought they grinded Villa down last week, and I think today they did. I mean, when you watch first half, Declan Rice, every time he got it, someone was on him. You know, had his head down, whoever the midfield were. But when you look at his goals, there's no one anywhere near him. Do you know what I mean? And they dictated the game. Second half, they had more composure. And I couldn't feel, the Bournemouth players didn't get near the midfield 3 in the second half. First half, I thought they were all over him like a rash. But second half, their squad's so strong. It's so strong. The 3 substitutions come on, remind me of the old, back in Sir Alex Ferguson's Man United teams. Do you know what I mean? When they bring on
Trossard, Saka, Jesus, big players to bring on.
I played in a Villa game.
And that was a problem from last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they brought on Van Nistelrooy, Scholes, and I think Giggs. I mean, you're like, oh,
what do you do when that happens?
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Make it fair.
You know, I think a massive, you know, as pairings all round the pitch, you work in pairings, especially the 2 centre-halves. If you keep on swapping and changing all the time, one gets injured, someone else comes in. So them 2 are an absolute must. But then you've got Zuma Mendy sitting in front of them. Very rarely get anybody running at the 2 centre-halves. You know, that 3 as a triangle is as good as anybody in the Premier League at the moment, in my opinion.
And when they're all available,
5 games, 5 clean sheets. That tells you everything. You know, they're a great combination. They work well, and I think what Gabriel brings you is not just he's just incredible at set pieces as well. He attacks everything, and he actually makes some of the set pieces, which are okay balls, great passes or great crosses because he's so good at it. And yeah, I think you make a great point as well. Zuma Mendy does a great job just putting out a lot of fires just in front of those 2 players.